Hey guys, today I'm here with Vincent Ash, and he's going to talk a little bit about his journey to where he is right now. So Vincent, tell us a little bit about your story and what you are doing right
Absolutely. For those who don't know, my name is Vincent Ash. I'm the director of Indianapolis Economic Development on behalf of the Indy Chamber. Specifically, my entity is called Develop Indy, but we're housed under the Indy Chamber. Um, Overall, kind of my journey to this point is I went to Tech High School, as this is an alumni interview. Within the math sci program there. Um, Unfortunately for me and my family, my parents didn't necessarily have, um, the availability to help pay for college or take out any loans to help pay for college. So after I graduated from Tech, I actually went to Ivy Tech for a couple years and kind of paid out of pocket while I was going there. The programs that I focused on there were accounting and finance. Once I finished up my program at Ivy Tech, which absolutely helped me save some money. I ended up transferring to the Kelley School of Business at IUPUI, where I finished with a finance degree. Um, after after I graduated with a finance degree, I ended up at Simon Property Group for a number of years, for about 4 years as an analyst for them, looking at malls and their performas and how they are evaluated, looking at escrow accounts. So a lot of analysis, a lot of detail orientation that's involved there. And then fortunately enough, I was able to end up where I'm in now, at the chamber. Never really knew what my career path was going to be. I always thought I was going to be an accountant going through college. But once I went to the Kelley School of Business, and they kind of opened up, the other sectors that you could kind of get involved in finance, whether that is personal finance and helping people with their personal finances, whether that's brokerage or corporate finance. But I really fell in love with real estate analysis. And that's kind of how my journey kind of began as a Kelley student, and really just got entrenched. Working at Simon was a great opportunity for me to get exposure into that field. And then soon enough, I moved over to more into the real estate development and economic development portion.
now. For any student who may not know what Simon Group is, can you provide a little context?
So Simon Property Group is one of the world's largest real estate investment trusts. They're technically certified as a REIT. They own and operate a lot of real estate, specifically malls and shopping centers. So if you're familiar with Indianapolis, they own Castleton, downtown Circle Center, Greenwood. They also own Edinburgh Premium Outlets, which is now Indiana Premium Outlets. So overall, they own about and operate about 125 across the nation. And they do have some that's international as well. It was a great experience learning from them as far as real estate and kind of how landlords interact with tenants.
Obviously, you had a relatively non-traditional path to where you are right now, and I think that there is a negative connotation with students going to Ivy Tech and kind of choosing a different path, when I think there are perfectly valid financial reasons for doing that. And I think that your situation makes the case for doing so if you can't get the appropriate financial aid. We definitely don't want to encourage students to unnecessarily put themselves into a private loan debt, especially if they can go into a program that they're passionate about and pursue their interests the way that you have. I think it's really important for them to understand that if they continue to follow opportunity, that you never know where it can lead you. So I really appreciate that about your story. So as a person in your position, what does work look like on a daily basis?
So work looks like we have a lot of different projects. And when I say projects, I'm talking about different, more than likely either corporate expansions, relocations for companies that are thinking about coming to Indianapolis, or any real estate redevelopment projects around the city, around Marion County. So a lot of developers are building industrial spaces, or they're building multifamily apartments. So on a day-to-day basis, we are kind of managing those projects as they move through the city for any incentives. And when I say incentives, it's kind of like tax breaks that we provide to companies. So we work with the city, we work with the companies to get those incentives allocated to the company. On a day-to-day basis, there's a lot of project meetings. There is a lot of emails that come in on a day-to-day. On top of, just staying on top of projects, there's a lot of forward-thinking policy things that we are also looking at from the city's perspective. So for us, in my entity, Develop Indy, we work a lot with the mayor's office, the city, the Department of Metropolitan Development, which is the major redevelopment department within the city. And we look at their economic development policies, things that we want to focus on, things we want to strategize around, and we implement forward-thinking policies to achieve those goals. So a lot of times it is very busy. A lot of times I don't have time to even get to my work during the day because most of the time you're in meetings pretty much. And even in this Zoom world, you can back up meetings every hour on the hour now compared to what they were when we're in a normal setting and I'm to and fro a lot of places and I'm barely in the office. So for some of the skills that kind of helped out with that is definitely time management. Time management is a big critical skill for any type of project management that you would do. And this project management can really translate to any type of field, any type of industry. So time management is huge and very critical for you to be able to balance and prioritize what's important, what needs to get done right now, and prioritize your time. Organization goes along with that. I would say, as I alluded to earlier, when I had to, pay out of pocket and while I was going to school, I was also working full time. And I went part time while I was at Ivy Tech, but when I transferred over to IUPUI, I worked full time and went to school full time. So that was a challenge, but it made me focus on my time management. It made me focus on my being able to prioritize my tasks. And fortunately enough for me, I was able to get through it and graduated, on the dean's list. So it's not easy, but once you get that time management and organization down, it'll help you out throughout your career in really whatever role you end up in.
So there are a lot of opportunities that are available for high school students these days, particularly in the kind of the networking and professional networks and organizations. So if you could provide a recommendation to a high schooler, just in general, to kind of further themselves, what would you recommend for them to be involved with as they prepare to enter the professional world?
So I would definitely take, there are students that are looking at internships as early as high school. So take advantage of, exploring different opportunities or different internships that you may be interested in. A lot of times you don't know what, career you want until you experience it. So, take those chances now early. And I believe, the state has a new criteria that you need a work experience as a high school student. So definitely take those experiences and opportunities to experience different places, different industries that you may be interested in. On top of that, once you get into, college and even in high school, different clubs, whether that's, investment clubs that's at your local school or things that you may be interested in, get involved in those clubs. They look very good on resumes. They also look good when you're applying for different internships. And then, of course, in college, definitely stay plugged into different opportunities, different networking, experiences or organizations that you may be interested in. For me, while I was in college, I was in the real estate club. So we did a lot of different things in the real estate industry and networked with professionals that was already graduated and in the Indy area. So definitely look into things that you're interested in, join different clubs, and that's really networking relationships is probably one of the biggest things that you can do to kind of catapult your professional career.
All right. So if you were given a microphone and plopped down in front of, 150 high schoolers, what sort of advice would you give in general?
I would definitely say take pride in your high school schoolwork. Definitely take pride in that. I would say that's one thing that I regret doing. We had great teachers. Like I said, I was in the math science program. and honestly, it prepared me very successful to have a very successful career and even through college. But definitely take those, your grades seriously. It's going to allow you to, to qualify for certain scholarships, to help you out. And like I said, in my case, I had to pay out of pocket mostly for a lot of my tuition. Saved me some money, but wasn't overloaded with school debt either. So there's definitely different opportunities. So definitely take your schoolwork seriously. Definitely take, the relationships that you build, not only, with your friends and your peers, but also with different mentors that you could have, whether that's different clubs that you're a part of, or different organizations that you're a part of on a high school level. Mentorship is pretty critical. Throughout my career, personally and professionally, I've always had mentorships that have sown into me. So definitely take advice from people that are older than you, in careers that you may want to be in. Reach out to them. I haven't met too many people that turns down giving people advice. So feel free to reach out to your different mentors or people that you look up to to get advice from. That will be pretty critical throughout your life, personally and professionally. So those are some of the things that I would say focus on the most as you're finishing up your high school career.
Well, again, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk this morning. And, I don't think that high schoolers understand that, like you have a real job and like, as you mentioned earlier, like your schedule fills up really quick. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to kind of talk with me this morning. So if you are one of my students and you would like to hear from a specific profession, a person who works in that field, please let me know and I'd be happy to make those connections and have an interview with that person. If you'd like to ask a question in a future video, please let me know that as well. I'll see you guys next time.